Welcome to Pages Unpacked, your go-to place for simple yet very powerful book summaries. Today we are exploring the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, a powerful idea that can completely change how you deal with people, stress, and your own happiness. This book teaches a simple but life-changing lesson. Stop trying to control everyone else and start focusing on your own life. In this summary, we'll walk through all 18 chapters of the book. You'll learn practical ideas, real-life examples, and simple tools you can use every day. By the end, you'll understand how two small phrases, let them and let me, can completely transform your life. So sit back, relax, and let's begin this powerful journey. Chapter 1. Stop wasting your life on things you can't control. If you constantly feel stressed, overwhelmed, or stuck trying to make everyone happy, this chapter is for you. Mel Robbins begins with a powerful truth. The problem isn't you. The problem is the power you give away to other people. Most of us don't even notice we're doing it. Every time you try to control what people think about you, how they feel about you, how they behave toward you, you slowly lose your own peace of mind. Mel shares that she spent years trying to meet everyone's expectations. She believed that if she just worked harder, said the right things, and kept everyone happy, then she would finally feel good about herself. But the opposite happened. She felt exhausted, invisible, disconnected. And many people live the same way. You try to manage your partner's feelings. You worry about your coworkers' approval. You stress about your parents' opinions. You think, maybe if I do everything right, they'll finally understand me. But no matter how hard you try, someone is still unhappy. Someone still criticizes you. Someone still doesn't understand you. And you're left feeling like you're never enough. Mel says it doesn't have to be this way. The solution is simple but powerful. Let them. Let them be disappointed. Let them judge you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. Let them leave. When you stop trying to control how other people feel, you finally start living your own life. Mel gives a simple example. Imagine a coworker walks into the office in a bad mood. In the past, you might think, did I do something wrong? You might try to cheer them up or avoid them. But with a new mindset, you simply say, let them. Let them be grumpy. Let them have a bad day. You focus on your work and protect your energy. Another example might be a parent who constantly criticizes your life choices. Instead of arguing, defending yourself, or feeling hurt, you simply think, let them have their opinion. Their beliefs do not define your life. This is the first step toward emotional freedom. Mel explains this idea using a powerful metaphor. Time with the people you love is like an ice cube slowly melting. You can't stop it from melting. You can only enjoy the moment while it lasts. But many people ruin these moments because they are worried about things that don't really matter. Mel shares a story about her son Oakley's high school prom. He had no plans, no dinner reservation, and everything was chaotic. Mel tried to control every detail. She even bought a corsage for his date, only to learn the girl had already brought one. Mel was stressed and frustrated. Then her daughter said something that changed everything. Mom, if Oakley and his friends want to go to a taco bar before prom, let them. Let them get wet in the rain. Let them ruin their shoes. It's their prom, not yours. That moment hit Mel like lightning. She realized she was ruining the experience by trying to control it. So she stopped. She gave Oakley some money for tacos, wished him a great night, and watched him run out the door laughing in the rain. The night wasn't perfect, but it was real. After that moment, Mel started using let them everywhere. The bakery ran out of bagels. Let them. The neighbor's dog keeps barking. Let it. Her son complains about curfew. Let him. These small moments became practice for peace. Every time she said let them, she stopped getting pulled into unnecessary drama. The lesson is simple. You can't stop people from being who they are. But you can stop letting it ruin your life. By the end of this chapter, Mel leaves us with a powerful reminder. You are not responsible for other people's emotions, behavior, or opinions. You are only responsible for your time, your energy, and your life. Let them do what they do. And you choose peace. Chapter 2. Let them plus let me. In Chapter 1, we learned the idea of let them. But in Chapter 2, Mel introduces the second half of the formula. Let me. These two ideas work together. Let them gives you freedom. Let me gives you responsibility. If you only say let them, you might avoid conflict but never take action. That's why let me is important. It means deciding what you will do next. Mel explains this with a personal story. She once went on a trip with 6 women she believed were close friends. On the last day, one friend pulled her aside and told her something shocking. Some of the women were upset about something Mel said on the first night. But instead of telling her directly, they spent the entire weekend talking about it behind her back. Mel felt embarrassed and confused. Her mind filled with questions. What did I say? Why didn't they tell me? Did I ruin everything? She wanted to fix it. She wanted to explain herself. But then she realized something important. She was focusing completely on their feelings and ignoring her own. That's when she discovered the full formula. Let them talk. Let them gossip. Let them misunderstand. And then, let me decide what I want. Let me choose the kind of friends I want. Let me choose how I respond. Let me decide who deserves my energy. This became the full let them theory. Mel explains it like this. Let them creates emotional space. Let me decides what to do with that space. For example, if someone excludes you from an event, you might normally feel hurt and ask why. Instead, try this. Let them have their gathering. Then ask yourself, let me decide if these people belong in my life. Another example is at work. Maybe a coworker gets credit for your idea. Instead of becoming angry or bitter, you think, let them take the credit. Then, let me speak up next time. Let me build stronger relationships. Let me advocate for myself. Let me is where your power lives. Mel also talks about using this mindset in her marriage. Sometimes her husband forgets things she asked him to do. Instead of immediately getting angry, she pauses. Let him be forgetful. Then, let me communicate what I need clearly. Let me decide what matters and what doesn't. This shift changes relationships. You stop trying to control others. Instead, you focus on your own actions. Mel ends the chapter with a powerful question. What would your life look like if you stopped managing everyone else and started managing your own energy? The let them theory isn't about ignoring problems. It's about emotional control. Pause. Say let them. Then decide. Let me choose my next step. Chapter 3, Managing Stress. Let them annoy you. Stress doesn't always come from big problems. Often it comes from small daily annoyances. A coworker complaining all the time. A neighbor's dog barking for hours. A teenager slamming doors. A long line at the store when you're already late. Each moment seems small, but together they slowly drain your energy. In this chapter, Mel gives a simple solution. Let them be annoying. You don't need to control or fix every irritating thing that happens. Most stress doesn't come from what happens. It comes from your resistance to it. It's not the traffic jam that stresses you. It's the thought. This shouldn't be happening. It's not someone interrupting you. It's the story you tell yourself that they are disrespecting you. Mel shares a funny story about her morning routine. One morning, she was already busy and thinking about her long to-do list. Then her mom started reading news headlines out loud. Did you hear about the banks? There's a lettuce shortage in California. The weather is getting worse. It was nonstop negativity. Mel felt herself getting annoyed. She wanted to snap. But then she remembered. Let her share the news. That's just how she connects. And suddenly the stress disappeared. Instead of reacting, she smiled and moved on. Mel also explains what happens in your brain. Your brain has a threat detector called the amygdala. It scans for danger. But sometimes it mistakes small annoyances for real threats. That's why someone cutting you off in traffic can suddenly make your heart race. The solution. Remind yourself you're safe. Let them cut you off. Let them forget to say thank you. Let them not reply to your text. You are still okay. Mel gives several everyday examples. A coworker ignores your good morning. Let them. They might just be shy or distracted. A group chat keeps buzzing late at night. Let them. Put your phone on silent and protect your sleep. Someone chews loudly at dinner. Let them. Move your chair instead of starting an argument. These small choices protect your peace. Mel shares another story about her husband Chris. He often leaves his coffee mug on the bathroom sink. It used to drive her crazy. But one day she changed her mindset. Instead of seeing it as annoying, she thought, let him. It's a small habit. And it belongs to the person she loves. That tiny shift changed the emotion behind the moment. Mel says many people treat stress like a badge of honor. They say things like, I'm so busy. Everything is stressing me out. But what if your identity became calm instead of stressed? What if your energy stayed grounded even when life gets messy? You can choose not to react to everything. Life will always include small annoyances. But your inner world is yours to protect. Let them do what they do. And let yourself breathe. Chapter 4, Work Stress. Let them hold you back. If you've ever worked hard but still felt ignored, underappreciated, or treated unfairly at work, this chapter will feel very familiar. Mel Robbins explains something many people don't realize. A lot of workplace stress doesn't come from the work itself. It comes from worrying about how other people behave, how they see us, and how things should happen. In this chapter, Mel reminds us of an important truth. You cannot control your boss, your coworkers, or your company culture. But you can control how you show up and what you do next. The let them theory helps you stop wasting energy on things you cannot fix and instead focus on your own growth. Imagine the situation. You worked extremely hard on a project, you stayed late, solved problems, and delivered great results. But when it's time for recognition, your manager takes the credit. Most people react like this. They complain to friends. They replay the moment again and again. They feel angry and resentful for weeks. But Mel suggests a different response. Pause and say, let them. Let them take the credit. Let them manage poorly. Let them show you exactly who they are. Then comes the second step. Let me update my resume. Let me start networking. Let me ask for the promotion I deserve. Let me create a plan for something better. The goal is not to ignore the problem. The goal is to stop letting it drain your energy. You don't have to accept unfair treatment, but you also don't need to spend all your emotional energy trying to fix a broken system. Instead, you focus on your next move. Mel also talks about another common workplace problem, people-pleasing. Many employees say yes to everything. They take extra tasks. They fix other people's mistakes. They rewrite emails again and again just to avoid sounding rude. They hope someone will notice their effort. But often no one does. This leads to exhaustion and burnout. Mel gives simple advice. Stop managing everyone else's emotions at work. If you say no and someone feels disappointed, let them. If someone thinks you're not a team player because you leave on time, let them. Respect doesn't come from overworking yourself, it comes from clarity and boundaries. Mel shares the story of a woman named Claire. Claire worked at a fast-paced marketing agency. Everyone knew she would always say yes. Need help with a last-minute project? Ask Claire. Client upset? Claire will fix it. Deadlines missed? Claire will stay late. She was always working harder than everyone else. But despite all that effort, she kept getting passed over for promotions. Eventually, she reached a breaking point. After learning about the let them theory, Claire started setting boundaries. When a coworker tried to push extra work onto her desk at the last minute, she calmly replied, "Unfortunately, I can't take this on right now, let's find a better system next week." It felt uncomfortable at first. Some people were annoyed. But something important happened. Claire finally felt self-respect. Within 6 months, she documented her achievements, updated her resume, and interviewed at several companies. Soon she accepted a better job with higher pay and a healthier culture. Mel shares this story to show something important. Let them is not passive. It doesn't mean doing nothing. It means refusing to waste energy on things you cannot control while you take action toward a better future. Mel ends this chapter with a powerful reminder. You do not owe your employer your mental health. You owe yourself the chance to grow, rest, and thrive. Let them overlook you. Let them ignore your ideas. And let you rise anyway. Chapter 5. Let them think bad thoughts about you. Have you ever stayed awake at night worrying about what someone might think of you? Maybe you replayed a conversation again and again. Maybe you rewrote a message 5 times before sending it. Maybe you wondered if someone was judging you behind your back. If so, this chapter will feel very freeing. Mel Robbins begins with a simple truth. No matter what you do, some people will always judge you. You can be kind, responsible, generous, and hardworking. And still, someone will misunderstand you. Someone will criticize you. Someone will dislike you. Once you accept this reality, something powerful happens. You stop performing for approval. You stop exhausting yourself trying to please everyone. The core message of this chapter is simple. Let them think whatever they want. This idea can feel scary, especially if you grew up trying to make everyone happy. Many of us were taught to be polite, agreeable, and quiet to avoid conflict. So when someone criticizes us, it triggers deep fears. We think, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I did something wrong. But Mel flips this thinking. She says, let them judge. Let them misunderstand. Let them gossip. Their thoughts do not change your reality. Mel shares a personal example. When she started making big career moves, launching a podcast and publishing books, she worried about what family members would think. She imagined them rolling their eyes or talking about her behind her back. Eventually she realized something. If she kept shrinking to avoid judgment, she would never build the life she wanted. So she adopted a new mindset. Let them think what they want. I have a life to build. Mel also talks about something she calls approval addiction. When you constantly seek validation, it holds you back. You avoid speaking up in meetings. You don't share your ideas. You stay quiet when someone crosses a line. Why? Because you're afraid of how people will see you. But Mel reminds us that you don't need universal approval to live an amazing life. You only need self-respect. She offers a simple exercise. The next time you worry about someone's opinion, ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Do I respect this person? 2. Is their feedback helpful or constructive? 3. If not, why am I giving their opinion so much power? Not every opinion deserves space in your mind. Some people judge because they are insecure. Some gossip because they are bored. Let them. Mel also talks about criticism on the internet. When you post online or share your ideas publicly, someone will always criticize you. It's unavoidable. At first, negative comments used to bother her deeply. But eventually she realized something powerful. If you are doing anything meaningful, someone will disagree with you. Success attracts criticism. Mel shares a funny truth. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach on the tree, and someone will still say they hate peaches. You cannot be liked by everyone. But the people who truly connect with you will appreciate the real version of you. Mel ends the chapter with a powerful reminder. Most people are not thinking about you as much as you believe. They are busy worrying about their own lives. So stop shrinking yourself to please invisible critics. Let them think whatever they want. You have a life to live. Chapter 6. Let them be upset. Many people are afraid of making others uncomfortable. We worry about upsetting people. So we say yes when we want to say no. We apologize even when we didn't do anything wrong. We change our decisions just to keep others happy. In this chapter, Mel Robbins explains why this pattern is so exhausting. Your fear of someone else's discomfort is stealing your peace. But what if you stopped trying to manage everyone's emotions? What if you allowed people to feel what they feel? That's the idea behind this chapter. Let them be upset. When you set a boundary, someone might feel disappointed. Let them. When you cancel plans because you need rest, someone might feel annoyed. Let them. When you express your honest opinion, someone might not like it. Let them. Mel shares that earlier in her career she struggled with this problem. She agreed to things she didn't want to do. She over-apologized. She constantly tried to smooth over everyone's feelings. Eventually she realized something important. Trying to keep everyone emotionally comfortable was making her mentally exhausted. So she began practicing a new approach. She learned to sit with the discomfort of someone else being upset. She learned to say no without apologizing. And she realized a powerful truth. Someone being upset does not mean you did something wrong. Sometimes people get upset simply because you stopped doing what they wanted. That's their emotional work to handle. Mel gives several examples. A parent who always hosts holidays might decide they want a quiet celebration this year. Relatives might feel disappointed. Let them. A coworker who always asks for help might get annoyed when you say no. Let them. A friend who depends on you emotionally might react badly when you ask for space. Let them. Healthy relationships require the ability to disappoint people without destroying yourself. If someone cannot handle your boundaries, they may not be a safe relationship for you. Mel shares the story of a woman named Denise. Denise used to attend weekly family dinners that were full of criticism and tension. She always left feeling drained. Eventually, she told her family she needed a break. They reacted strongly: guilt trips, accusations, anger. But this time Denise stayed calm. She said, "I love you, but I need space right now." And then she did something different. She let them be upset. Weeks later, her sister called and admitted something surprising. She said she finally understood why Denise needed space. Sometimes people need time to adjust to your boundaries. But they can only adjust if you stop rescuing them from discomfort. Mel ends the chapter with a powerful reminder. Your job is not to be emotionally convenient for everyone else. Your job is to be honest with yourself. Let them feel what they feel. And let yourself finally feel free. Chapter 7: Overcoming Constant Comparison. Let's be honest, comparison is one of the quietest ways we destroy our own peace. In Chapter 7, Mel Robbins talks directly about this habit. Whether you're scrolling through social media, watching a coworker move up faster than you, or feeling like you're behind your friends in life, comparison can make you feel like you're losing, even when you're doing well. Mel begins by admitting something personal. For years, she compared herself to other speakers, authors, mothers, and women who seemed more organized and calm. Every time she compared herself, she lost focus on her own path and started feeling like a failure. That's the danger of comparison. It pulls you away from your own lane and pushes you into someone else. You forget your progress. You question your direction. You start asking, why not me, or what's wrong with me? But Mel explains something important. Comparison itself isn't the real enemy. What matters is how you respond to it. When you feel jealous or insecure, it's not proof that you're behind. It's a signal. It shows you something you may secretly want. Instead of feeling ashamed, use comparison as information. Ask yourself, what about this situation is triggering me? What does this person have that I want? Is this a dream I've been ignoring? For example, if travel photos on Instagram irritate you, maybe it's not about the photos. Maybe it's because you haven't taken a break in years. If a friend's promotion bothers you, maybe it's time to rethink your own job satisfaction. The comparison didn't hurt you, avoiding your truth did. Mel explains it beautifully. Let them win and let that inspire you to try. Instead of shrinking when you feel envy, allow others to succeed. Let them shine, let them enjoy what they earned. Then get honest about what you want too. Mel shares a story about a college roommate who wrote a best-selling book and started appearing on national TV. Instead of celebrating her, Mel felt jealousy and doubt. She wondered, why not me? I work hard too. Instead of judging those feelings, she studied them. The envy showed her something important. She had a message inside her that she wasn't sharing. So she used that feeling as fuel and wrote her own book. That's the shift. Comparison isn't proof you're failing. It's a mirror showing what you want. Mel repeats the mantra again. Let them win. Let them shine. Let them go viral. Let them buy the house first. Let them get married first. Let them be ahead. And then ask yourself, what matters to me? When you stop chasing someone else's timeline and start listening to your own, your power returns. Here are a few real-life examples Mel shares. Example 1, the perfect Instagram friend. Their photos look flawless: clean kitchen, smiling kids, perfect vacations. Seeing it makes you feel inadequate. Mel says, let them post what they want. Remember that nobody posts their struggles online. You're not behind, you're just seeing the edited version. Example 2, the promoted coworker. Someone else moves up at work, even though you worked just as hard. Let them succeed. Then ask yourself, do I need to speak up more? Ask for a raise. Look for a better opportunity. Use comparison as fuel. Example 3, the successful sibling. They seem to have everything: marriage, house, financial stability. Let them have their story. And let yourself build your own version of success at your own pace. Mel also reminds us that we never see the full picture. The people you envy have struggles too. They also have fears and insecurities. Life isn't a race, everyone is simply in a different chapter. To shift your mindset, Mel suggests a small exercise. When you notice comparison starting, pause and say, let them live their life, let me focus on mine. Then write down 3 things you're grateful for. 3 things you've done well. 3 signs of progress in your life. Gratitude destroys comparison. Mel ends the chapter with a powerful truth. You cannot compare your beginning to someone else's middle. And you cannot compare your real life to someone's highlight reel. You're not behind. You're simply on your own path. So the next time you feel that sting of comparison, pause and breathe. Let them shine. And let yourself step back into your own light. Chapter 8, Owning Your Power. So far, the let them idea has helped you stop trying to control other people. You've learned to let people think what they think, feel what they feel, and act how they act. But in Chapter 8, Mel introduces the second half of the theory. The most powerful words are not just let them. They are let me. This chapter is about taking responsibility for your own life. Mel starts with a bold truth. You don't need anyone's permission to change your life. You only need your own. Many people spend years waiting. waiting for the right moment, waiting to feel ready, waiting for someone else to believe in them. But the truth is simple. You rarely feel ready. You just get tired of your excuses. Mel shares a moment when her own life felt stuck. She was overwhelmed, burned out, and deeply in debt. She dreamed of writing and speaking, but fear kept stopping her. Her mind kept saying, "I'm not qualified. Who do I think I am? What if I fail?" Then she realized something important. Nobody was coming to rescue her. So she said two powerful words. Let me. Let me start writing. Let me show up. Let me try. She didn't wait for confidence. She built confidence through action. That's the power of let me. Let me take the first step. Let me show up imperfectly. Let me pursue what I want. Mel explains that momentum begins when you stop waiting. You cannot control everything in life, but you can decide what you will do next. She shares several moments that changed her life. Let me get out of bed even when I want to hide. Let me ask for help when I feel ashamed. Let me stop chasing people and chase my dream. Small actions create movement. You don't need a perfect plan. You only need to show up today. Mel gives several real-life examples. Example 1, starting a business. You have an idea for a business, YouTube channel, or side hustle, but you keep waiting. Mel says let them doubt you. And let me start. Let me buy the domain name. Let me post the first video. Let me make the first sale. Start before you feel ready. Example 2, the burned out parent. You give everything to everyone else and feel like you've lost yourself. Mel says, let them expect everything. Let me take an hour for myself. Let me rest. Let me do something that brings me joy. Example 3, the dead-end job. You feel stuck at work but are afraid to make a change. Mel says, let them run the company how they want. Let me update my resume. Let me start exploring new options. Your future is created by the choices you make, not the ones you avoid. Mel also addresses fear. Many people ask, what if I fail? Her answer is simple. What if you never try? Failure is not the real danger, staying stuck is. To build the let me mindset, Mel suggests asking yourself every morning. What is one let me move I can make today? It doesn't have to be big. One email. One workout. One honest conversation. Confidence grows when you take action despite fear. Mel ends the chapter with a powerful challenge. Don't just let others live their lives. Let yourself live yours. Let yourself be bold. Let yourself make mistakes. Let yourself chase your dreams. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need the courage to say, let me try. Chapter 9, Adult Relationships and Boundaries. In Chapter 9, Mel discusses one of the hardest parts of adult life, boundaries. Whether it's with parents, partners, coworkers, friends, or even children, boundaries often feel uncomfortable. Many people worry that setting boundaries will make them seem rude or selfish. But Mel explains something important. Boundaries are not walls. They are bridges to healthier relationships. Most relationship stress isn't caused by what others do, it's caused by what we allow. Many people say yes when they want to say no, they avoid difficult conversations to keep the peace. But keeping the peace often destroys your own peace. Mel admits she spent years trying to make everyone happy. She solved problems for everyone and avoided conflict whenever possible. Eventually she felt exhausted and invisible. That's why boundaries matter. Boundaries don't control other people. They simply state what is acceptable for you. Mel describes a simple formula. A boundary means saying, this is what I need. This is what I will not accept. This is what I will do if the line is crossed. Here are a few examples. Example 1, the parent who calls constantly. Your parent calls every day, sometimes during work or rest. You love them but it interrupts your life. You could say, I love talking with you but I can't talk every day, Tuesdays and Sundays work best for me. They might feel confused or disappointed. Let them. And let yourself protect your time. Example 2, the draining friend. Every conversation becomes an emotional dump. You always feel exhausted after talking to them. You might say, I have about 10 minutes to talk today. That's not rude, it's honest. Example 3, the partner who doesn't help. You do most of the household work while your partner assumes you're fine with it. Instead of hinting, you speak clearly. I feel overwhelmed, I need us to divide responsibilities more evenly. Not an argument, just a clear request. Mel also reminds readers that many people were never taught boundaries growing up. If you grew up in a household where saying no was discouraged, setting boundaries will feel uncomfortable at first. But discomfort doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. In fact, people who benefited from your lack of boundaries may resist when you create them. Let them. Their reaction doesn't mean your boundary is wrong. It means things are changing. Mel encourages calm communication. When you say no, don't over-explain. Don't apologize unnecessarily. Repeat your boundary clearly. Healthy boundaries protect relationships. Without them, resentment grows silently. And resentment eventually destroys connection. Mel ends the chapter with a helpful reminder. Let them have their expectations. Let me have my limits. Your boundaries are not a burden. They are the structure that protects your peace. Chapter 10, Let them walk away. Few things hurt more than being left behind. It could be a breakup, a fading friendship, a family member pulling away, or someone simply not showing up for you anymore. When someone leaves, it often brings painful questions. What did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? How could they just leave? In this chapter, Mel Robbins offers a powerful shift in thinking. Let them walk away. Yes, it hurts deeply, but sometimes it is also necessary. Mel explains that this chapter was one of the hardest for her to write because it touches a fear we all share, the fear of losing connection. Humans are wired for belonging. When someone leaves, it can feel like rejection or failure. But Mel reminds us of something important. When people walk away, it is not always about you. And even if it is, you still deserve to remain true to yourself. One of the most powerful ideas in this chapter is this. When someone leaves your life, it might not be the end of your story. It might be the beginning of your healing. Mel shares a story about a close friend who slowly distanced herself after Mel's TEDx talk became popular online. They had once been very close, but as Mel's career grew, the friend became distant, then critical, and eventually disappeared completely. Mel was devastated. She tried reaching out, she replayed conversations in her mind, she wondered what she had done wrong. Finally, she stopped chasing the friendship and said two words that gave her peace. Let her. Let her leave. Mel realized that people grow in different directions. Not every relationship is meant to last forever. Sometimes letting someone go is the most respectful thing you can do, for both of you. Holding onto someone who doesn't want to stay keeps you stuck. It traps you in a cycle of chasing, hopping, and proving your worth. Mel asks an important question. What if losing them actually frees you to become who you're meant to be? Many people look back and see this truth in their lives. The breakup that crushed them made them stronger. The job loss led to a better opportunity. The friend who disappeared created space for deeper relationships. Mel tells the story of a woman named Jenna who had been in a relationship for 7 years. They lived together and talked about marriage. But something always felt slightly wrong. Her partner was distant and non-committal. Jenna kept trying harder to make the relationship work. Then suddenly he ended it. She was heartbroken, but later she realized something important. She had been holding onto a version of love that was draining her. In a strange way, his leaving forced her to finally move forward. Sometimes their absence becomes the freedom you couldn't give yourself. Mel offers a simple process for letting someone walk away. First, allow yourself to grieve, feel the sadness instead of pretending you're fine. Second, stop chasing. Don't keep texting, checking their social media, or trying to explain yourself again. Third, learn from the relationship. Ask what it revealed about your needs, boundaries, or patterns. Fourth, redirect your energy. Invest in yourself the way you once invested in them. The final step is forgiveness. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Letting someone go doesn't mean becoming cold or bitter. It means standing strong in your own value. Mel shares an affirmation for moments when the urge to chase returns. What is meant for me will stay. What isn't meant for me, I release. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is open the door and let someone leave. And then walk yourself back into your own light. Chapter 11, Let It Hurt. Pain is part of life. Some pain is loud and sharp like heartbreak, betrayal, or rejection. Other pain is quiet and hidden like regret, shame, or old wounds. In this chapter, Mel encourages something many people try to avoid. Let it hurt. Most people rush to escape pain. They distract themselves with work, social media, or constant busyness. But avoiding pain doesn't make it disappear. It simply hides beneath the surface. Eventually it returns as anxiety, resentment, exhaustion, or feeling stuck. Mel explains a powerful truth. You cannot truly move forward until you allow yourself to grieve what you lost. Sometimes what you lost isn't just a person. It might be a dream, a future you imagined, or a version of yourself. Mel shares a story about a breakup she experienced in her early 20s. She believed this man was the one she would marry. When he suddenly ended the relationship without explanation, she was devastated. Instead of facing the pain, she tried to avoid it. She distracted herself and pretended everything was fine. But the pain didn't disappear. It stayed inside her and affected how she trusted people in future relationships. Eventually she realized something important. The pain wasn't only about the relationship ending. It was about the story she had created in her mind about being chosen, loved, and valued. Many people carry similar stories. Someone leaves and we tell ourselves, I must not be lovable. I must not be good enough. Mel reminds us that these conclusions are not truth, they are simply painful interpretations. The only way to heal is to move through the pain instead of avoiding it. She recommends a practice called emotional honesty journaling. Each morning, write answers to 3 questions. What am I truly feeling today? Where do I feel it in my body? What might this pain be trying to teach me? This practice doesn't instantly remove the pain, but it gives your emotions space to exist. And emotions that are allowed to exist often begin to soften. Mel also reminds readers that healing doesn't follow a schedule. Grief can appear weeks, months, or even years later. When it returns, let it move through you instead of pushing it away. Your emotions are signals. They show where healing still needs to happen. Mel connects this idea to the let them mindset. Let them cause the pain. Let me feel it fully. Not to relive the wound forever, but to finally release it. She offers a healing mantra. Let them go. Let it hurt. Let me heal. Healing is not a straight path, it's more like a spiral. You may revisit the same feelings again and again, but each time you return stronger and wiser. Eventually the memory remains, but it no longer breaks you. Chapter 12, Let Them Be Unfair. Life is not always fair. Sometimes people betray your trust, judge you wrongly, or take credit for your work. It hurts deeply when this happens. In this chapter, Mel introduces a difficult but freeing idea. Let them be unfair. This doesn't mean their behavior is acceptable. It simply means you stop wasting your energy trying to force them to admit they were wrong. Many people spend years hoping someone will apologize or finally understand the damage they caused. But often that moment never comes. Mel explains that the more you chase fairness from someone who refuses to give it, the more power you give away. Instead of trying to force justice, focus on protecting your peace. Here are a few examples. A sibling constantly twists stories to make you look bad. Let them believe their version of events. You continue living your truth. A coworker takes credit for your idea during a meeting. You can professionally clarify your work, but you don't let anger consume your energy. Your work will speak for itself over time. An ex spreads rumors about you after a breakup. Let them show their character. You walk away with dignity. Mel shares a personal story about being part of a collaboration where her work was ignored and overshadowed. At first, she tried to defend herself and prove her value. But eventually, she realized something. She was fighting to be respected by people who never valued her in the first place. When she stopped fighting, she felt relief. Sometimes unfair treatment is simply life redirecting you to better spaces. Mel shares a powerful line. When you stop trying to stay in rooms where you aren't respected, you create space for rooms where you are celebrated. Revenge rarely brings peace. Emotional freedom comes from letting go. Her mantra for this chapter is simple. Let them be unfair. Let me keep rising. Justice can be powerful. But peace is even more valuable. And sometimes peace begins with the words. Let them. Chapter 13, Let them disappoint you. Disappointment has a unique kind of pain. It's not only about what happened. It's about what you hoped would happen but didn't. The call that never came. The support you expected but didn't receive. In this chapter, Mel explains why we should allow disappointment instead of resisting it. Her message is simple. Let them disappoint you. Mel shares a story about a birthday when she hoped for a thoughtful celebration. She didn't expect anything huge, just a meaningful moment. But the day passed like any other day. Everyone was busy and there was little acknowledgement. She smiled and acted fine, but inside she felt hurt. Many people hide disappointment because they don't want to appear needy or dramatic. But unspoken disappointment slowly turns into resentment. Mel suggests a healthier approach: adjust expectations. People can only meet you where they are. Let them be who they are. Your partner might forget small gestures. Your friend might not call when they promise. Your boss might overlook your hard work. Instead of being shocked each time, accept the reality of who they are. Disappointment often comes from unspoken expectations. Mel suggests asking 3 questions when you feel disappointed. Did I clearly communicate what I needed? Am I expecting this person to become someone they've never shown themselves to be? Can I meet this need myself? Sometimes disappointment simply reveals the truth about a relationship. If someone repeatedly lets you down, even after you communicate your needs, it may be time to reduce your expectations or create distance. Mel shares a strong reminder. Stop expecting loyalty from people who struggle to show up even for themselves. Disappointment isn't always a bad thing. It gives you information. It shows you where you may be relying too heavily on others for your happiness. Her affirmation for this chapter is, I release my need for others to validate me. I accept people as they are. I protect my own peace. Real maturity means accepting people as they are while also protecting yourself. Chapter 14, Let them live their life. How often do you think, why would they do that? Why would they stay in that relationship? Why don't they listen to my advice? When people we care about make choices we don't understand, it can make us anxious or frustrated. In this chapter, Mel encourages a powerful mindset shift. Let them live their life. Even when you love someone deeply, it doesn't mean you know what's best for them. And it doesn't mean it's your responsibility to fix their choices. Let them stay in the job you would have left. Let them date someone you wouldn't choose. Let them spend their money differently than you would. People grow through their own experiences, including their mistakes. Mel shares a story about her daughter making a decision she didn't agree with. Her instinct as a mother was to step in and correct it. But instead, she reminded herself how much she learned from her own mistakes. So she stepped back. She let her daughter figure things out on her own. The result was powerful. Her daughter learned from the experience and their relationship stayed strong. Trying to control someone's life, even with good intentions, often pushes them away. But when you allow them to make their own choices, you create space for trust and growth. Mel gives a few examples. A friend keeps returning to a toxic relationship. You've given advice many times. At some point, you must let them walk their own path. An adult child chooses a risky career path. You might worry, but it's their life to explore. A coworker keeps repeating the same mistake. Sometimes people need to learn through experience. Mel reminds us of something freeing. You don't need to understand someone's choices to respect their right to make them. True emotional maturity means supporting people without controlling them. Instead of judging their path, focus on being someone who listens and cares. Mel closes the chapter with one of the most powerful affirmations in the book. Let them live their life. Let me live mine. Let me love them without trying to change them. Because real freedom in relationships happens when both people are allowed to be themselves. Even when their path looks very different from yours. Chapter 15, Let them feel their feelings. Let's talk about emotions, yours, theirs, all of them. In this chapter, Mel Robbins shares a powerful reminder. Your emotions are real, but they are not always facts. And the same is true for everyone else. People will feel what they feel, you cannot control it, and when you try to manage everyone's emotions, you end up exhausted and unhappy. That's why the core message of this chapter is so freeing. Let them feel their feelings. It sounds simple, but most of us were raised to do the opposite. From a young age, many of us learned to manage the emotional atmosphere around us. If your mom was upset, you stayed quiet. If your dad got angry, you walked carefully around him. If a friend cried, you rushed to fix their problem. If someone was disappointed in you, you tried even harder. Over time, you start believing something dangerous. Other people's emotions are your responsibility. But Mel makes it clear they are not. You are responsible for how you behave, not how other people feel. The moment you stop trying to control everyone else's emotions, you finally gain the space to manage your own. Mel shares a story about a family vacation. Her son Oakley was in a terrible mood. He was quiet, irritated, and snapping at everyone. The old version of Mel would have taken it personally. She would have tried to cheer him up or become frustrated herself. But this time she paused and told herself, "Let him feel his feelings. He's allowed to be cranky. It's not my job to fix it." And suddenly the situation felt different. Just because someone else is upset doesn't mean you need to be upset too. Just because someone is angry doesn't mean you did something wrong. Just because someone is sad doesn't mean you must solve it. So Mel repeats the idea again. Let them be sad. Let them be frustrated. Let them cry. Let them feel whatever they need to feel. Why? Because emotions are signals, not emergencies. When you stop reacting to every emotional wave around you, you become more grounded. You can support someone without getting pulled into the storm. Here are a few real-life examples. Example: a partner who comes home stressed. Your partner had a difficult day at work and snaps at you. Old response: you react defensively or try too hard to cheer them up. New response: let them. They're stressed, it's not your job to absorb it. You can say, "I'm here if you want to talk," and protect your own peace. Mel also reminds us of something important. You should allow your own emotions too. Many people hide their feelings because they don't want to appear dramatic or negative. But suppressed emotions do not disappear, they grow stronger. Mel suggests a simple practice called name it to tame it. When you feel overwhelmed, pause and name the emotion. I feel anxious. I feel hurt. I feel disappointed. Naming the feeling activates the thinking part of your brain. It helps you observe the emotion instead of drowning in it. Mel compares emotions to weather. Storms come and go. Your job is not to control the weather, it's to avoid building your house inside the storm. Another powerful reminder in this chapter is this. If someone is angry with you, it does not automatically mean you did something wrong. Their emotions belong to them. They are responsible for how they express them and how they handle them. Your job is to stay calm, communicate clearly if needed, and remain grounded. Mel even offers a simple response you can use when emotions become intense. It seems like you're upset. I care about you, but I'm not going to absorb that energy. When you're ready to talk calmly, I'm here. That's not cold, it's emotionally intelligent. Mel also discusses emotional manipulation. Sometimes people use their feelings to control others. They become dramatic or angry to force a reaction. But that pattern is their responsibility to change. Your job is to hold your boundary. Let them feel what they feel. And let yourself stay peaceful. The chapter ends with a powerful reminder. Allowing others to feel their emotions doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care wisely. You respect their emotional journey, and you protect your own stability. So the next time someone's emotions start rising, pause and breathe. Let them feel. Let me stay grounded. Let both of us grow from this moment. Chapter 16. Let them be someone else's problem. Here's a hard truth. Some people are not your responsibility to fix. In this chapter, Mel Robbins encourages you to stop carrying burdens that were never yours. Think about the people who constantly drain your energy. The coworker who always pushes work onto you. The friend who only calls when they need something. The family member whose chaos becomes your emergency. Mel's message is clear. Let them be someone else's problem. This idea is not about being cruel or uncaring, it's about protecting your limited energy. Mel shares a powerful truth. If someone keeps draining you, it isn't only about them. It's also about your difficulty letting go. Many people believe that if they stop helping, they are selfish or heartless. But that belief leads to burnout. Mel tells the story of a woman named Diane. For years, Diane tried to rescue her brother from one crisis after another: addiction, money problems, unhealthy relationships. She gave him money, advice, time, and emotional support. But nothing changed. Eventually, she was exhausted and resentful. After learning the let them approach, she told her brother, I love you, but I can't keep doing this. Your life is your responsibility. She stepped back. She let him be someone else's problem. Did he change immediately? No. But Diane did. She regained her peace, her energy, and her clarity. Over time, their relationship even improved because it was no longer based on guilt and rescue. Mel reminds readers, you are not a rehab center, emotional sponge, or unpaid therapist. Let them find their own solutions. Let them experience consequences. Let them take responsibility. And if they keep repeating the same cycle, let them do it without dragging you along. Mel suggests creating a let them list. Write down situations where you need to step back. Let them find their own ride. Let them solve their own problems. Let them miss the deadline. Let them clean up their own mess. Then allow yourself to feel the relief that comes from releasing responsibility. Mel offers a powerful quote. You are allowed to stop showing up for people who never show up for themselves. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It simply means you stop carrying. And that difference changes everything. Chapter 17, Let Them Judge You. One of the strongest fears humans have is the fear of judgment. You hesitate before posting online. You replay conversations in your mind. You worry what coworkers, family members, or strangers might think. Slowly, without realizing it, you begin living for approval instead of living for truth. In this chapter, Mel Robbins gives you permission to do something bold. Let them judge you. Because the reality is simple. People will judge you no matter what. If you stay quiet, someone will criticize your silence. If you speak up, someone will criticize your voice. If you follow your dreams, someone will question your choices. Judgment is unavoidable. Mel shares a story about when she first started speaking publicly. Online critics attacked her voice, her story, even her appearance. At first the comments hurt deeply. But eventually she realized something powerful. People judge through the lens of their own fears, insecurities, and experiences. You cannot control that. What you can control is this. Will you let their judgment decide who you become? Mel breaks judgment into several categories. Judgment from strangers online. Let them. Anonymous criticism says more about them than about you. Judgment from family. Let them. They may not understand your dreams or your choices. But you cannot shrink your life just to make others comfortable. Judgment from friends. Let them. Some people feel uneasy when they see you growing or changing. That discomfort belongs to them, not to you. Mel shares a powerful reframe. What if their judgment doesn't mean you're wrong? What if it means you're brave? Many people never take risks. They never chase their dreams. So when they see someone else trying, they project their fear. Let them. Instead of asking, what will people think? Ask yourself, do I respect the person I am becoming? That question matters far more. Mel ends this chapter with a powerful mantra. Let them judge. Let me be free. Because your life is not a courtroom. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone. Chapter 18, Let Me Live My Life. After all the lessons in the book, after letting others talk, judge, leave, or misunderstand you, Mel arrives at the most important message. Let me live my life. Let them was never the final goal. It was the doorway. The real goal is reclaiming your own life. Mel explains that many people spend years living according to expectations. Trying to please family. Trying to fit into roles. Trying to gain approval. But eventually, you reach a moment where you ask yourself, when do I get to live my life? This chapter is about stepping into that answer. It means releasing people-pleasing, over-apologizing, and over-explaining. It means trusting your own voice. Mel shares that for many years she lived to meet other people's expectations. She tried to be the perfect professional, mother, friend, and partner. But underneath it all, she felt exhausted. Everything changed when she started saying two powerful words. Let me. Let me write. Let me speak. Let me try. Let me stop pretending. Let me trust my instincts. Slowly, life stopped feeling like survival and started feeling like creation. Mel explains what let me live my life looks like in everyday choices. Let me take up space. You don't need to shrink your voice or your dreams to make others comfortable. Let me rest without guilt. You do not need to earn rest, you deserve it simply because you are human. Let me make decisions others don't understand. Your life choices belong to you, not to the opinions around you. Let me stop waiting. Waiting for permission, perfect timing, or someone else's approval. There is no perfect moment. There is only the moment you decide to begin. Mel also talks about self-forgiveness. Many people punish themselves for past mistakes, relationships that lasted too long, boundaries that were never set, dreams that were ignored. But growth requires compassion toward your past self. Let that version of you go with kindness. Mel suggests imagining the future version of yourself, the one who trusts herself completely. How does she walk? How does she speak? What choices does she make? Write that vision down. Then begin making decisions from that version of yourself. The book ends with a powerful reminder. You've spent enough time trying to become what others needed. Now it's time to become who you need. Let them go. Let yourself rise. Let your life begin again. And most importantly, let yourself finally live. If you love this great book, don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comment, and subscribe to my channel, Pages Unpacked, where we break down life-changing books into powerful, easy-to-digest summaries to help you grow, heal, and thrive one chapter at a time. See you in the next book. Bye.